The Dallas Cowboys made a lot of changes this offseason. And normally, they're usually not for the better. This time around, yeah, they did a good job. I'm not gonna lie, they did a good job. And it pains me to say it, but they did a good job. I actually give them a B plus, highest grade at the NFC East for me this year. They get a B plus. Their draft night was huge, probably the biggest steal of the 2020 NFL draft was drafting wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. When they said CeeDee Lamb's name going to Dallas, I think the entire world kind of just scrunched up their forehead like, how did this happen?
I screamed an expletive.
I did too.
Very loud.
I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, they are. I think they are primed to be the top seed out of the NFC East this year. I mean, like I said, anything positive coming out of my mouth is going to pain me to say it, but they have the right pieces. They do. They have the right pieces to be successful.
They do, but they always have. They've had a very good team for a long time, and I know they have a new coach now. But there's a situation brewing down there in Big D with Dak Prescott not getting a new deal. Travis Frederick, he's gone. Who knows what to expect? They've got some talent, but will they be a good team? That's always been what's killed them.
But I feel like what was really holding them back was the head coaching position. And as most of you know, Jason Garrett, the former Dallas Cowboys head coach, is now the New York Giants offensive coordinator, which I'm actually happy about because Jason Garrett loves to run him some football, and I have no problem.
And he likes
with
to
that.
clap his hands. You got a good cheerleader
Well,
there now.
you know, we don't have any
He's
cheerleaders.
the only cheerleader.
So-
Yeah, I was going to say he's the only one there.
I'll take what we can get. But, looking at Mike McCarthy, a guy that's coming from Green Bay who hasn't been coaching over the last couple of seasons, but I don't think that means anything. I think that just gives him more time to prepare for his next opportunity. And he has playoff experience. He's won a Super Bowl, and he's been there plenty of times. He is going to come and bring them that veteran playoff experience that they desperately needed. They could not get over that hump, and they also could not close out big-time games. And I feel like if they can get over that hump for closing out games and then get into the playoffs, I think they might actually go far. Offensively, I think they're geared to go. They got Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and now you got CeeDee Lamb with Zeke. And I don't think Dak has to even do that much. He doesn't have to do that much.
He never really has, to be quite honest. And I think that's why Dallas has such a hard time paying him the amount. Because, look, Jerry's finally cracked. I mean, he did back in the 90s, but I guess he forgot. So he's finally re-cracked the code to winning football. And that's investing millions upon millions into your offensive line. They had guys on mega contracts for offensive linemen in Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and Travis Frederick. They got massive amounts of money. So think about this. Now you lose Travis Frederick, and they did some good things in the draft to try to replace him and build up the defensive line and so on and so forth. But the money that you would have to put into Dak Prescott is not going to help you win, especially now that Andy Dalton is in town. That's a very underrated part of this whole Dallas offseason. Andy Dalton's there now.
Andy Dalton going
is
to
Dak
Dallas.
that much better than Andy Dalton?
But Andy
and
Dalton
on a good
going
team?
to Dallas could potentially be a situation like Ryan Tannehill going to Tennessee. You had a guy like Marcus Mariota who was playing decently, serviceably, but wasn't really excelling where the expectation was for him to play. Now you have a guy like Andy Dalton, who really I just think was failed by the system in Cincinnati. He's not a terrible quarterback. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. I think he's a great backup. He's a fantastic backup. But he will push Dak Prescott. And hopefully we'll see a better version of Dak. Well, hopefully we don't. But hopefully we see.
What are you talking about?
But you know what I mean. Hopefully we'll see a better version of Dak Prescott. I do believe Dak has the potential. We've seen Dak's ceiling, right? We've seen what he's capable of doing. The problem is he's not consistent with it. If he can remain consistent with it, then this team is going to be a problem. I think that they're overall a pretty complete team. Yes, we will have to get a few questions answered, like
Man,
about
that's a
Dak
name.
Prescott and the offensive line, but they have weapons and they got guys that can fly around to the football on defense. And I believe that their coaching staff is in a much better position this year than they were last year. So I feel like the team is really going to come together. We're gonna see some things that we're not really gonna like because we don't really like Dallas. But I do believe that they will be a solid team this year, and I think that they come away as champions of the NFC East. And I hate to say it, but I think that's the truth.
I Yeah, I think they finished 9-7. Me personally, and I think that both them and the Eagles get in the playoffs.